Hello, and welcome back to our Youth Conservation Leadership Speaker Series. My name is Chelsea, and today I'm with someone that you may recognize from previous installments, Shannon Anderson, the Education Director at Saskatchewan Wildlife Federation. So, how you doing, Shannon?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much, Chelsea. This is really fun. The tables have turned.
Tables have turned. So, Shannon and I work together at Sask Wildlife. And I know quite a bit about you, but why don't you introduce yourself? You know the drill. Tell us a little about
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah. All right. So, like Chelsea said, I'm Shannon. I'm the education director here at SWF. I basically handle youth but not necessarily youth, but just education in general. So I do a lot of youth programs, helping out schools sometimes. We also do summer camps. We do programs for women. We do programs for, people of all ages, really, just to try to get them outside more. Basically, that's the gist of my job. That's what I do.
So, to kind of like hone in on that, what do you do on a day-to-day basis versus your busy season?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It really depends. So I wouldn't say that there's any season that's really dead. There's always something going on, but it's always very different things. So for instance, in the wintertime, I'm working a lot with teachers who want to rent snowshoes from us or who want to get outside and use GPSs and go geocaching. Or we're putting together, programs about the birds that live in Saskatchewan and getting out and bird watching, or the fish, or other animals that live here. And then in the summertime, which if anything, is the busier season, we do a lot of in-person activities. So we do outside of COVID, of course, we would do summer camps. So we do week-long summer camps where we'd go canoeing and kayaking and archery and learn how to light fires and all kinds of build shelters, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then we also do things like the Women's Outdoor Weekend. So that's like similar kind of outdoor skills, but it's kind of a smaller scale. It's on the weekend and it's for women just to get them out and trying new things. So yeah, like I said, there's not really a downtime, but I would say probably summer is the busier time.
Okay, so you talked about a lot of different skills there. The next question is a little bit about, what kind of skills you'd be wanting to work on, what kind of schooling you might want to do. So maybe tell us a little bit about your personal background and then some different skills people might want to build up on if they were interested in doing something like this.
Yeah, definitely. So at the end of the day, what I do is public education. So I'm working with people, whether it's through Zoom during COVID or in person, whether it's big groups, whether it's one-on-one. So my education background kind of came to this in a roundabout way. I did a biology degree and majored in marine biology. It's kind of funny to see I'm in Saskatchewan now, but anyway, so I started out with marine biology. I did a lot of field work, that kind of jobs in the summertime. I did a co-op degree, but then I did also a few jobs as like an interpreter, working with Parks Canada, marine stations, just like educating the public on all kinds of different things. And that's what I fell in love with. I found I was really drawn to it. I really like getting people excited about nature and biology and the outdoors and so many cool things. So I guess that's why I ended up being drawn to a position like this one. If you're interested in doing, either outdoor education or just public education in general, I would just say, say yes to opportunities that allow you to interact with the public, whether that is being an interpreter at a provincial park or, giving nature walks or volunteering to take people bird watching or, like things like that, because that really builds up that communication bit that's really, really important. So if I were to recommend anything, I would say try to get involved with those kind of jobs.
And I guess like on the similar vein, who would you recommend people volunteer with, or what kind of volunteer activities do you think would be best suited to a role like this?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great organizations out there who are looking for volunteers all the time. I mean, a lot of them we spoke to during the speaker series, but like NCC, the CWF, like often, if you're just looking, especially with social distancing and things in mind, there's all kinds of programs still happening out there. So what I would do is I would just take a look at the conservation organizations that are closest to you, and then maybe find the ones that you're most interested in. So like, it's always good to be open to opportunities, but it's also good to keep what your interests are in mind too, right? Because then you're able to work on specific skills that you're looking for. So SWF, of course, I'm gonna represent us, but like there's so many conservation organizations. Parks Canada do youth kind of clubs all over the place. So there's lots of options, and there's something out there for everybody. If you're into like helping turtles out, then there's organizations that do that. Or if you're interested in like native prairie plants, then there's all kinds of groups that'll help you get involved in that too. So take your pick. We're pretty lucky here in Saskatchewan. We've got a lot going for us.
So I would say like go towards the groups that you gravitate towards the work, and then just sort of see what they have to offer.
Yeah, and also like, I say, go towards people or places that you're interested in, but also keep open-minded too, because you never know, you might end up putting up signs for sharp-tailed grouse or something, and you could run into somebody who's from a different organization that does something completely different that you might want to try out, right? So if you have time and the energy, I definitely just I'm so in encouragement of volunteering. It's so valuable.
Yeah, and so on the topic too of like all these different groups that we've sort of worked with over the last couple of months that we've interviewed, are there any conservation careers that you maybe didn't know about before you started down this path that you think seem really interesting?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually thought that I would end up in like a field technician role somewhere. When I was doing my degree, that was kind of what I was interested in. But like I mentioned a few times, keeping open-minded is really important. Like I had a chance one time, I got a phone call, and they said, "Hey, there's an opening at this insect lab for 4 months. Would you like to work there?" And I was like, I don't know anything about insects. I'm not entirely sure if I'm interested in insects, but sure, why not? Let's do it. And it was one of the coolest jobs I'd ever had. It was really neat. And I got to work with, fruits and tree species and, apple orchards and insects that affect them. And it was really, really cool. So I don't count something out just if, that your first reaction is kind of like, oh, I'm never going to want to do something like that. Because even if you don't end up liking it, sometimes that is just as valuable as finding out, what you did want to do, right? So
yeah. No, I think, and we've kind of talked about that before, how dipping in and getting a little taste of everything is a really good way of deciding where you want to focus your time.
Yeah, and when you're in high school and you get opportunities for summer jobs and in university, that's an awesome time to try all those different things out, right? It's kind of like a buffet. You can pick from 2 or 3 things, and if you find what you're looking for, awesome. You might not think in a million years that's what you would have been looking for, but you're not going to know until you try.
Yeah, so what you kind of gave me was maybe the answer to my next question. I was going to ask you
I should know better.
Drell, what are you doing? What kind of advice would you give to someone who is thinking about going into a career in conservation?
Oh boy, I don't know if I'd consider myself an advice giver. But one thing looking back now that I wish I had have probably thought about when I was in high school and university is just the value of experience. Because at the end of the day, when you have a resume full of different experiences, you're going to get a lot further than, say, if you stayed put and just did one job forever. So like I had a lot of people around me who, it's difficult sometimes because you could be in financial difficulties and there's a job that might pay less but has, experience in what you want to eventually end up in, or there's a job that pays way more and you get to, I don't know, sit in a kiosk. I'm not saying that we need people to sit in kiosks, but also sometimes it's better if you can afford it to take the lower paying job to get that experience, because in the long run, and it might be quite a long run, it could be 10 years or so, it could help you get to where you really want to go. And I see that a lot with, I guess, people my age who, kind of took the dollar over the experience right away without thinking. And, looking back, probably it would have been more valuable to them. So like I said, don't say no to opportunities right away. Keep open-minded, get used to saying yes to things. And yeah, sometimes it's worth taking the risk. maybe it's a volunteer position, maybe you're not getting paid at all, but if it gives you that really good experience that you're going to use, it could get you to where you want to be faster. So
Yeah,
that's what I did in my experience.
you did a lot of experience getting.
Yeah, very random, but you know what? I ended up here and it's been great. So I don't regret it.
All right, Shannon. Well, that pretty much wraps us up. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I guess I just really wanted to thank everybody for tuning in to all of our videos. This has been really great. It's been really nice for us to connect with other organizations and I learned so much about all these different jobs in Saskatchewan that I didn't previously before. And I don't know, I think this was a lot of fun. So keep up with our Facebook page and on our website because we've always got education pieces coming out. And yeah, if you have any questions or anything, you can reach me. You can find us on our website. So